I know, so you guys think they're A tier? I haven't seen a Cloak and Dagger dominate my game. Like, again, I'm going off what I've seen players do and what it feels like to play against right now. I have not seen a Cloak and Dagger go crazy. I'm sure there's good ones, but when we get to Mantis, you'll understand my reasoning why. All right. Look. Everybody's been asking me for a tier list. I've got about like 100 hours in this game, including the betas, like maybe 110, 120. I'm going to go ahead and make my tier list. I will say this is going to be pretty rough, right? Again, there's no real way to know, but there's a couple heroes that I think I have a very good idea on here that should help you guys in knowing what's good, what's not. I want to start out by saying it does feel like a lot of these characters are pretty close. Like, I think a lot of these characters are very playable. So just keep that in mind when I'm making this. All right. So let's start this out. Adam Warlock. I think he's solid. I'm going to put him in A tier again. His Soul Link ability is really, really good. And he makes it so that a lot of flankers, like when you connect everybody's health pool, it's really good against dive, right? I don't think he's game breaking or anything. I think that ability is really strong. And like he heals so much when he's healing someone else. His damage is great. And his ult is fair but strong. Like rezzing a team, really, really good. Like mass res, really, really good. They do spawn in on low HP, but I've seen him be able to carry some games. I think he's solid, but I don't think he's like top of the pack. All right. My favorite, Black Panther. Okay, listen. I would love to put him higher than B tier. I think he's better than a lot of people think. You can do some crazy things on Panther. However, the only reason I don't have him in A tier is because you can pick two support characters together that make him completely obsolete because he just can't beat them. If they go Luna and Mantis together, you're not doing anything on Panther. And they're half decent players. Like they just heal straight through all your damage. And you have to have good setup from your team helping you to actually get him. So I think Panther is middle of the pack. Very fun. Could be good. But when they swap Mega Sustain, you're just better off going like Hawkeye or something like that. So I can't put him higher than B tier. I do think he's good, and you can play him in a lot of situations, and he's very, very fun. S tier in terms of fun. But I'd be being pretty dishonest if I ranked him higher than B tier because but he's not a throw pick. Let me be clear. I don't think he's a throw pick at all. Okay. Black Widow. I don't think she's that good. She can't really one-shot most of the cast. Dive is good into her. I don't think she's horrible. She might be B tier instead. If I missed this, I'd say she's B tier. You can definitely play her. I just think there's better options. You know, I think Hawkeye's better. I think Hela's better. Who else are some good poke options in the game? I just don't think she excels compared to other characters in the game. She can be good though on the right point. I think she's map specific. You just don't want him nerfed. No, like I'm telling you, like there's just games where you don't have a team with you on Panther, you just do nothing. You're better off playing something else. I do think he's a solid pick, but I think he's very middle of the pack. But yeah, I don't think Black Widow's that good. I think she's all right. All right. Captain America. You know, honestly, I don't really know where this guy's going to land. Like I think he's a solid pick. I'm going to put him in B tier because I think he's solid. I haven't seen anybody dominate with him yet. Now, there might be some people out there, and I could be totally wrong on this guy. But I do think he's a solid pick. Really, really cool. Really, really fun. Solid pick. Cloak and Dagger. All right. Cool characters. I'm going to put them in B tier. If I'm wrong, I think they're higher ranked than this. But I just don't think that they are on the same level as a Warlock or a Mantis or a Luna. But they are solid. Let me be clear. If I'm wrong, I think they'll be A tier. If anything, I've underrated these two. Okay? If anything, I've underrated these two. I think they're pretty good. Ult is solid. Covers a good area. Damages and heals your team. Really cool mechanic of swapping into damage and in and out. But I will say, when going up against Cloak and Dagger, I have an easier time with that than I do a Mantis, than I do a Luna, than I do a Jeff, because Jeff can run away. But again, that's mostly because I've been playing flankers, not poke characters, so take that with a grain of salt. I know, so you guys think they're A tier? I haven't seen a Cloak and Dagger dominate my game. Like, again, I'm going off what I've seen players do and what it feels like to play against right now. I have not seen a Cloak and Dagger go crazy. I'm sure there's good ones, but like when we get to Mantis, you'll understand my reasoning why. When we get back to Mantis, I'm going to talk about Cloak and Dagger more. All right, Doctor Strange. I think Strange is solid. He was solid in the betas. I think he's solid now. I think he's a pretty good tank. Eye of Agamotto, great ultimate, stuns everybody out. One of the few ways you can actually set up kills in this game in the ult fights because support ults are super, super good, right? I think Strange is definitely A tier as well. We'll leave him there for now. Groot, bit of a fall off for me. Like, I think he was really, really strong. But I just don't see many people playing him. That really might not have a testament to his strength. Again, I think a lot of these tanks might quickly jump to A or S tier if the sustain of supports is as good as I think it's going to end up being. So, again, little hesitant on Groot here, but I think he's solid. I haven't seen Groot's running it down, but I've not seen a lot of him dominating. I think he still could be really good. And so just because he's a big question mark for me right now, I'm going to put him middle of the pack. If anything, he's going to be up. If anything, he's going to be higher ranked than this, just to be crystal clear with you guys. But we'll see. Okay. Hawkeye. At least A tier. At least maybe S tier. Here's why. Okay. Pop the neck real quick. His one shot is crazy. It's still really good. They tried to rein it in a little bit, but in terms of poke characters, he's one of the best. He single-handedly gatekeeps several DPS heroes from really being picked. He can be dove, but I've seen a lot of Hawkeyes dominate games. I want to see where he lands a little bit more, but he also is just a burst damage character, and the burst damage is king against supports with mega sustain over time. So I think Hawkeye is a very, very solid pick. On EU, Groot is meta with Jeff, super strong. I believe it. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm putting Groot in A tier because I actually reminded me of a couple games. His sustain is crazy. Like I have these tanks are all going to be up 1 or 2 in general because of the sustain curve in the game right now. Okay. But yeah, Hawkeye again, burst damage a ton, like tank shredder. Hawkeye is a tank shredder, dude. He rips Penny. He can do a ton of damage to Groot. Hawkeye's output is just so high, I can't rank him lower than A tier. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Okay. Hela. A or S tier again. I mean, this girl does everything, right? She does everything. She has high damage hit scan. Damage over time with detonation on her right click. A stun against flankers on her E, right? A very strong ultimate. She's just a consistent beast, right? And if anything, she's underrated on this. She's A or S tier in my opinion. Helas can dominate lobbies. Insane damage output. Don't sleep on the Hela players. Insanely strong. Insanely strong. All right, Hulk. The Hulks I've played against aren't very good. However, there are a couple Hulk players out there that have figured this guy out before everybody. And those players are very, very good. For the general populace, I'm going to put him in B tier. But I want to make this really clear. There's a couple people that have figured this guy out in the same way that like myself and a few other people have figured out Panther and we're better than probably 99% of Panthers and we can put in the work. Hulk is one of those characters as well. If anything, he's underrated here, okay? I know I'm saying that a lot, but again, Hulk might be A tier. But again, I say this because a lot of these characters are actually pretty relative. Most of them, like the game's pretty well balanced for a release. But there's a couple stragglers up or down. I think Black Widow's on the downside of things. And I think Hulk could end up being a lot better. But people just have not figured him out yet. Iron Fist. Okay. Iron Fist S tier. I think Iron Fist is the most overrated character in the community. Look, if sustain is meta and it becomes some sort of brawly comp, he'll be A tier. Okay? He's as good as you put into him. It's super hard to tell. I'm going to put him in B tier for now for one reason. I think it's either going to be a GOATS-S comp with 3-3 or the sniper burst damage is going to be enough damage to make it so it's not just that perma brawl comp. he's kind of got the same issue as Black Panther has right now, but he's a little bit better at sustaining in the fight than Panther is. He's amazing S tier in actual one-on-ones. He is absolutely S tier in one-on-ones. So good. The invulnerability, the damage he has, right? But healing in the game is so easy to pull off that you are actually going to find a lot of those 1v1s in a real setting, right? I'm sure if you're just like, messing around in quick play, this dude could put in work. He's probably the coolest character in this game. But he's just not better than the poke burst damage DPS, I don't think, because he's harder to play and the sustain is so good. That's not to say you can't get value on him. Again, a lot of these characters are really, really close. But I think he's the most overrated character in the game because people have not figured out how to play into him yet. And I don't think his style of play is what's going to dominate in the game right now. Now, it could be a triple support, double tank, Iron Fist meta or something like that, where it's just two brawls running at each other, and this dude thrives in the brawl. He goes crazy in a Giga Sustain brawl. I'm just not sold that it's going to be that type of comp yet. But we'll see. He easily could be great, but I do think he's kind of middle of the pack until people learn how to play against him. I think he's a big noob stomper. But we'll see. You think he's better than Hulk? I don't know. Guys, listen. I've played up to the top MMR in quick play. I can already tell. I'm seeing all the pro players. I've not seen one Iron Fist. I've not seen one. Not one do well. Not a single one do well. Not a single one. If I start seeing Iron Fist dominate, I'll rank him higher for sure. But I have not seen any Iron Fist players put in absolute work yet compared to a Hawkeye, compared to a Hela, compared to, well, some of the other DPS that we'll talk about here in a minute. But let's go ahead and keep moving here. Okay, Iron Man. Horrible, man. He's just not, he's hard countered by Hawkeye, destroyed by Hela, destroyed by so much stuff in the game. He is good into like the tanky comps for big splash damage, right? And his pulse is good, but Black Widow can gatekeep him. Hawkeye can gatekeep him. Hela can gatekeep him. Punisher can gatekeep him. Adam Warlock can gatekeep him. Mantis, like he's too easy to hit. Even with his synergy with Hulk, he's just too easy to hit. So I think if he gets more mobility, he can end up being better. But it's just so easy to kill him compared to other characters in the game and how much resources he demands to be good. He's very good on long sight lines where he can poke and just crush with damage on the walk. But there aren't a lot of maps where that actually is the case. And too many of his counter picks are just really strong right now. Spider-Man hard counters him too. Like he's just weak into, he's just straight up bad into too many DPS in the game for me to rank him higher than D tier. But he's a really fun kit and I do enjoy playing him. All right. Listen, if I was to rank on cuteness, on trolliness, and funniness, Jeff the Land Shark would be double S tier, okay? Probably the wackiest funny character I've seen in a video game. However, this guy is not better than, I wouldn't put Jeff in the top 3 supports in the game. I wouldn't. But I do think he's all right. His shift got quite a few buffs from the beta where he was underperforming. His ult is really funny and really troll when you suck people up and take them off the map. That's really fun. I fuck with Jeff the Land Shark. I love him. He's just not Mantis or Luna. He's just not. So just for his cuteness and trolliness, I'll put him in A tier because he's really funny. But he's not a top 2 support in the game. He's just not. I don't think he is. I could be wrong. He's just like Mantis and Luna are so fucking good that I can't rank him higher than A tier. I can't. But I love Jeff. I think he's really cool. Loki, kind of fell off. Really cool. Solid pick. Really cool ult. But he's not Mantis. He's not Luna. He's not Jeff. And he's not Adam. He could be a really solid 3rd support. His abilities are super cool. His ult is great utility. Great utility. Being able to copy even on your team, one of your own teammates, and instantly getting their ult allows him to be probably the most flexible character in the game with his ultimate. But it's not top tier. It's situationally good, and if you can create those situations, he can be very good, but it's difficult to create those situations when a lot of other characters can just get value. So we'll see. I think Loki's middle of the pack. All right, Luna Snow. I don't think anybody's surprised here. I mean, again, she kind of does it all. Great healing output, great damage potential, insane ultimate with super flexibility. There's nothing this K-pop star can't do. She's fantastic. She's great. All the girlies love her because she's got the supermodel skins or whatever, and they can slay in their high heels and shit. Get after it, ladies. You got this, okay? I'm rooting for you guys. Luna's great, man. Super strong, insanely powerful healing output. Just does everything. Does everything. And she got buffed. So, yeah, listen, ladies, definitely would recommend buying the skins because unlike Mercy in Overwatch, Luna is going to get playtime. Mercy in Overwatch has been horrible since Season 9, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon until they get rid of super tanks, because then the pocket DPS can actually kill the tank, and Mercy has a viable option and pick that's just not filled by Brigitte. Okay, Magic. Again, A tier. I think Magic's really good. Not a lot of people know how to play Magic, but Magic was super underrated in the beta. I think she's still pretty solid right now. Wait, did she get some nerfs? I don't remember if she got some nerfs or not. Huge cleave damage into Brawl. Huge cleave damage. I think Magic is solid when you learn how to play her. Pretty hard learning curve, but when you learn how to play her, she's good. I think she's actually better than Panther because she can sustain more and she actually can kill through some supports. So yeah. Magic can actually cleave through some of the supports. So yeah, Magic, pretty solid pick. I don't know if she's S tier. She could be, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to put her in A tier. This is kind of the safe pick for me. Magneto. I've seen a lot of Magneto. I think he's still solid. Good pick, good tank, cool character. Can anchor a position well. His shield is good. His ult is great. He doesn't really have a downside. So I think Magneto is still a very, very solid pick. Can't go wrong with the good old Magneto. If you guys like Magneto, I know there's a lot of X-Men fans out there. Magneto, a great villain, especially in the classic movies too. I mean, some of the best, those original X-Men movies were fantastic. Seriously, his origin movie they nailed it, man. I think some of those films are some of the more underrated, not talked about films, because I believe the rights made it so that they weren't actually tied in to the Marvel universe. But they did a great job. Great job. Magneto, awesome. Okay. Mantis. Best hero in the game. I think Mantis is the best hero in the game. First of all, again, some more skins for all the girlies out there. All right. Second of all, she does everything, and she's not that hard either. She's actually really easy. If you are looking to be a flex player and you want the support to pick up, 10 out of 10 must learn Mantis. I mean, what can't this girl do? She can damage boost herself, damage boost her team to enable your DPS. She can heal her team, and then she heals from healing her team. So her uptime is about 100%. She's got a sleep stun that's super good into characters like Spider-Man, Black Panther, any flanker. She can counter, damage boost herself, crit in the head, and every critical you hit, you get more life spores, which is how you heal and damage your team. This girl has 100% uptime. Probably the best ult in the game. Might be a little bit worse than Luna Snow's ult. Again, does everything, does it well, is not that difficult, insanely powerful character. If you guys have not learned Mantis and you're looking for a support to play to get started in the game, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Gwen Stefani's fan typed in chat and said, put Mantis in D tier so she doesn't get nerfed. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I can't do that. She's OP. She's OP. Yeah, Mantis is awesome, though. Seriously, really fun character to play. I think she's the strongest overall hero in the game. You can easily put out 10k damage with 20k healing in a game, and I don't even have the best aim on her yet. Look out for the Mantis crackheads. She was pretty meta previously, I believe. My friend Aramori actually won her tournament with a Mantis comp. Nothing she can't do, guys. From damage boost to stun to big heals to uptime, all around, insanely consistently powerful character. Mantis, 10 out of 10, best hero in the game. Moon Knight. All right. There's been a lot of buzz around Moon Knight about how powerful he is. Everybody's saying he's a top 3 DPS in the game. I think he's solid. I think he's a little overrated because people are saying he's like God tier. But he is solid. So I'm going to put him in A tier. Again, like when you get up to higher ranks, people destroy his onks more. But he's super cool, man. Super cool. A lot of cleave damage. So if these big sustained clump up comps come in, you know what he is, chat? He's a better Iron Man. He is a way better Iron Man. Because Iron Man's role is to really burst damage those clump comps, right? But he doesn't have any escapability. Moon Knight is that damage output with better cleave, a super strong ult that doesn't put him at risk, that can just rip these enemies. If you hit one of his onks and hit one of those moon blades, where basically the onk will automatically reflect things you shoot into it into enemies in the area. So if you get a quick combo before they can break the onk, dude, you are crushing. He's got good mobility, though a bit clunky, and solid damage. I'm going to put him in A tier because I think he will be very good into the sustained type comps. But when it comes to dueling and DPS matchups, I would put him in B tier. I'm going to put him in A tier because sustain, I think, will be the meta. And he's very good into sustained comps because of that cleave damage. He can build his ult so fast. So Moon Knight, S tier for coolness, A tier for viability, I would say. Namor. I'm going to put Namor in B tier. He's pretty slept on, I think. He was pretty good in the betas, too. People don't really expect this character to be that good. His ult is solid. It's a big stun. His damage is actually good. I just don't think he can output as much as all of these characters, and he's not as good of a duelist as all of those characters, but he's very good into the flankers. So the better flankers get, the better Namor will get. But right now, again, I don't think flankers are that strong. But I do think Namor is a solid pick with his turrets. Again, his sustainability. If they dive him, he has an invulnerability, kind of like Mei Ice Block, where he goes up in the air and cocoons himself. So he's got good survivability versus the dive comp, but I don't think the dive comps are dominating right now. And he's got decent poke, but not exceptional poke. So I'm going to put him in B tier for that. Penny Parker. Okay. Again, I think it depends on how you nerf supports. Let me be clear about this, by the way. I don't think these two heroes should get gutted. I think they just need slight nerfs. And I'm trying to make this clear. I think a lot of these characters are much more relative to each other than the tier list would indicate. Right? There's not a massive gap between these characters. I think these guys just need tuning down, and that's probably it. But Penny Parker. Okay, let's see here. I've seen some good pennies, man. I'm struggling with this one. If they're running flankers, she's A tier or S tier. If they're running poke, she's just not that good. I want to put her higher than that. I do. I really do. But I can't say I've seen enough good penny players to convince me that I should. These characters got to pass the eye test, right? And until I see a penny dominate against characters that aren't Black Panther, that aren't Magic, that aren't, any flanker, I can't put her higher than that because I don't think the flankers are going to be A tier. If the flankers jumped up to A tier, she also would jump up to A tier. I just haven't seen it yet. I could be wrong. But I've seen her get demolished by a Hawkeye. Demolished. Destroyed with no answer. So until I see her have better options against poke, or I see Hawkeye come down a little bit, or Hela come down a little bit, I can't do it yet. Map dependent, really strong on the right maps. Solid pick, though. By no means take this as me saying you can't play Penny. You absolutely can play Penny. I just don't think she's dominant. Okay. Psylocke, man. Okay. Psylocke, I think, is up there with Magic as the best flanker. Man, is she cool. And man, is she good. There's one big reason why she's A tier and both Iron Fist and Black Panther are B tier. And that is her ultimate, man. Her ult is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs bananas good. This ult is almost a guaranteed kill on squishy characters, and she's invulnerable while using it, unlike Iron Fist and Black Panther. Or Magic, for that matter. All right, let's talk about her kit a little bit. So she's got stealth, which lets her set up how she wants. She can pop out of stealth and do a lot of really good burst damage to targets. She's rated 5-star difficulty, but I think she's by far the easiest flanker to play because she's the strongest. She's so cool, man. She's so cool. Like, she doesn't have to commit as much as the other flankers do to get value. She's like a lot more annoying, but she can get kills from being annoying and quickly burst down snipers. She's very good, and this is one reason why I have her high ranked. She's very good into Hawkeye. She's very good into Black Widow. She's very good into these poke DPS. I think Hela has the best options against her because of the mobility. Hawkeye doesn't have enough mobility against her. So yeah, man, Psylocke, very good. You can do a lot of these cheesy things to create kills, speed up your cooldowns from shooting targets. I can't even speak, Jesus Christ. Super solid to build that ult, man, and people won't even see you coming because of the stealth. They can hear you, though. They can hear you. Super cool character, super powerful character, one of the best DPS ults in the game in a vacuum. Solid hero, man. A-tier Psylocke, super fun, too. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Rocket Raccoon. He's solid. I think he's better than Loki for sure. I'm looking at Cloak and Dagger and B tier, and I'm really thinking about this. I think I might need to put Cloak and Dagger in A tier. I might have to put Cloak and Dagger in A tier. If I put Rocket Raccoon in A tier, I have to put Cloak and Dagger in A tier as well. I can't rightfully do that. We're adjusting Cloak and Dagger. I think both Rocket Raccoon and Cloak and Dagger are A tier. I mean, Rocket's a very easy character to pick up. You know, he's got a really good ult, damage amps your team, a res on his armor pack thing that you can put down, and he's really approachable. I think supports are really good in this game in general. But yeah, Rocket Raccoon, solid pick, good healer output, can heal his whole team, can heal himself, great escape ability to get away from flankers. Pretty good chip damage too against tanks. Solid. Rocket Raccoon, solid. I think he's A tier. Good hero. Scarlet Witch, bit of a fall off, I think. If I was going to rank her higher, it's because of her team up with Magneto. She's solid too. I mean, her ult is very good and she's a very good low rank DPS. The higher up you get in the ranks though, the more aware people are of her and the better people are with burst damage, where her damage is more damage over time. And her ult gets stunned out way more, gets shot out way more. She just becomes way more difficult to play the higher up you go. But she's a great entry hero. If you're just looking to fuck around in plat or gold or silver, you'll have a ball on Scarlet Witch. So she's not a bad pick by any means, but she's certainly not a top tier DPS. She is the Moira of DPS in this game. Okay. All right, Spidey. How the mighty have fallen. Very mid. Very mid. Just a glass cannon, and he can't kill through the sustain. Like Luna and Mantis just make playing him impossible, really. You know, if you're a good Spidey, you can get value, but holy shit, are you just in a permanent uphill battle? Like, listen, if you're looking to get into Spider-Man, you are going to be in an uphill battle. He really is the Genji of this game. And I say that because, like, if you're a Genji player, they're just going to swap Moira, Brig, Lifeweaver, you name it. Full counter you, okay? You can get value, but it's easier for them to get value against you than it is for you to get value against them. He's not unplayable, but you better beat Jesus Christ, like, resurrected on Easter Sunday if you think you're going to beat some of the top tier characters on Spider-Man. Like, you know, it's just... Yeah, with the Venom ability, he's a lot better, for sure. But I can't rate him based on the team up. I can't rate him based... You're not going to have the team up every game, right? His ult's good. Yeah, Spidey's ult's good until guess what? Until Mantis presses Q, who will have her ult first because she's more consistent than you and easier to play. And the same thing for Luna. They just press Q and you aren't killing anybody, right? Right? It's like Death Blossoming into Trank. You're not going to get anything. But again, if you're a good Spider-Man, you absolutely can get value, but you're gonna have to be Jesus Christ. Like you're gonna have to be Jesus rising from the grave, man. Like I'm just gonna shoot straight with you. Okay. Squirrel Girl. I just want to start this off by saying I think it's hilarious they put her in the game. And I don't know if you guys have seen the Twitter memes of people being like me comforting my Squirrel Girl after the loss. And it's them like, it's like a gif of somebody smacking a girl like on the booty. Man, I mean, for the people who are down bad, like this character is lovely to see in the game. Like the Gooners down in gold are going to be loving Squirrel Girl. But man, I think she's horrible. I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think I have not seen a single good Squirrel Girl in high ranks. I did play with Jake one game, and he and I were trying to put in the work, but I didn't do any favors because I tried to play Iron Man. So maybe if I had started on Hela so he could play Squirrel Girl, the good old Jake Rat could pull it off. Listen, if Jake can't pull off this character, fucking nobody's pulling off this character. I think she's great in low ranks. And fun, and I admit I've not touched her, so I could be totally, well, actually, wait a minute. How much damage does she do into like a Giga Goats comp? Maybe I'm wrong. Wait a minute. This could just be coincidence that I haven't seen her. I've seen zero good, listen guys, my MMR has been cranked to be with like top tier players. I've not seen one Squirrel Girl that's good. Literally not a single one, unfortunately. She's not, okay, listen, to all the people in chat saying she's S tier, I know exactly what your Twitter timeline looks like. Let's hold your horses here. Hold on. Listen, I'm going to keep her in C tier. I could be wrong, and if it becomes a big brawly tank comp and she can do big burst damages, right? She could be A tier, right? But I know what your Twitter timeline looks like, buddy. You ain't fooling anybody. All right. Star-Lord just doesn't do enough damage to be exceptional, but is pretty good. He's all right. Like, you know, he's like a Soldier 76, you know? Definitely not top tier damage. Guys, like, listen, I'm sorry, but you know that guy's Twitter timeline is a bunch of Squirrel Girl. Like, let's not pretend. This dude been reading the comics and everything, bro. I see your message. You're not fooling us. We're not falling for it, all right? Come on. But yeah, Star-Lord, I mean, he's just mid, you know, a fun character. If you're a Star-Lord main, you can play him all the way up to the high ranks. But you do have to understand there's probably some better matchups out there. But again, very, very doable. A lot like a Spider-Man, a lot like an Iron Fist, and a lot like a Black Panther. Absolutely doable if you got the skill sets for it. Go nuts. Super flexible. Okay. All right. Storm. Storm is better Iron Man. B- on Storm. When you have a Thor on your team, B+. Her team up with Thor is really, really good. She's got an incredible ultimate if you can get to it first, but a lot of these poke characters really gatekeep her, but don't get me wrong. You can dominate on Storm. I've had games where I've put out unbelievable amounts of damage on Storm, but it's mainly when I have a Thor because of that team up. The team up, so for those of you who don't know, her right click, her secondary fire, she throws lightning at a player, right? And it strikes really fast. Her team up is that same ability, but the lightning chains to all enemies. So in the area. So if you use it while amping her damage with her E ability, you can get like 20% ult on one chunk of it. It's one of the most secretly OP team-ups in the game, but it's not enough to put her to top tier. She can be very good at pub stomping, and if you get that Storm ult fast, which is the best way to play her, you want to rip that ult hopefully before Luna and Mantis get their ults, and if you do, you can kill through. But these guys this is why they're S tier. They build their ults so fast, so easily. It's really an uphill battle to get that done. But if you do, she's really, really good. Probably the most underrated DPS I have in this tier. in the right situation. Well, there's Iron Fist and Black Panther, so maybe I'm wrong. But I think Storm is one of the most underrated heroes in the game. You don't see anybody talking about Storm, but they should be. She just, like the stars in the stormy sky have not aligned for her to excel at a top tier, rate. Punisher, I mean, I haven't seen very many good Punishers. I think Hawkeye's gatekeeping him. I got to put him in B tier. He does a lot of good damage, and his ult's good. Maybe I underrate him in B tier. I don't know. But I haven't seen any Punishers this patch do anything great. I've seen 0 Punishers pop off. He's got a big fat hitbox for Hawkeye to just rail him. Both Moon Knight and Hawkeye kind of replaced his role when they were introduced. But Hela is so flexible and such a great duelist, she's going to stay A tier. So yeah, not much to say about Punisher. Solid beginner hero. You can play him, but he's not going to be one of the best for sure. Thor. I just think Thor's mid. Like, look, there's a couple good Thor players out there, but I've not played against a Thor that's dominated. Not one. There hasn't been a single one. And granted, this hero has a really, really long and hard learning curve. But I think what's so good about the tanks right now is some of them can sustain so much, and he just doesn't have the sustain. He, like, you just go Hawkeye and drill him, and it's like, what do you do? What do you do? So yeah, I think Thor could be better than I have him ranked right now when people figure out how to play him. But I don't see him as a top-notch hero. And like if Thor and Storm both get buffs, watch out. That's all I'll say. Keep an eye on these two. If these two end up getting buffed, watch out. They'll be very good. Venom. I can't rank this guy lower than A tier. I can't. He might be S tier, but he just has so much sustain, so much tankiness with decent damage and incredible mobility with a good ult. I can't rank Venom lower than A tier. I can't. Solid. He might be the best tank in the game, right? The only reason he wouldn't be the best tank in the game is because the sustain is so good that the Death Volley comps prevail over the Dive S comps. Venom is the key character to watch as this meta unfolds. If he ends up being on the upper half of this, it's going to push all of the flank heroes and all the poke heroes down, and it's going to bring all the flankers up. And that could be very, very good. Again, the margin for error with this right now is very, very thin. It could go either way. But one thing I do know is that Venom is a really, really solid Vanguard/tank. And if you're looking for a fun, crazy tank to play that makes you feel like a beast, Venom is your guy. Venom is your guy. Coolest tank hero I think I've ever seen in a game. Everything about him. Again, like, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. You guys know this. His team up. He empowers Spider-Man and Penny very, very well. Sick character. Love Venom. Well designed. Okay, Bucky. I think Bucky is a little bit better than a lot of the other DPS in the game. His ult is crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And all the hit scan players out there are going to be pumping damage on this guy. His right click, Roadhog hook almost, is super, super strong. And again, his shift grapple punch and his E, like, Pulsar or whatever, reloads his gun. So he can defend himself. He can do good damage. Very solid damage dealer to tanks. And man, if you can force the support ults, and if they fuck up and misuse their support ults, that ult can team wipe on par with Psylocke, right? These two are two of the biggest surprises that I've seen post-launch that are super fun to play. If you're looking for a solid, DPS character to play and you're a hit scan character or a hit scan enjoyer, man, I cannot recommend Bucky or Winter Soldier enough for you guys. Really solid character, well designed, super fun to play. Not great at range. So when he's into Hela, when he's into Hawkeye on the more long range maps, he's going to struggle. But the medium range maps, this dude puts in the work. And he's good in the flankers too. This dude puts in the work. He puts in the work. He puts in the absolute heat. So would recommend this guy. Super fun. Get after it, y'all. Wolverine. Terrible. Now, this might be because nobody's bothered learning him yet. I have not seen a Wolverine player go positive. I have not seen a single Wolverine go positive. Now, I admit this 100%. I've not even touched this character, okay? Not even touched him. I've been having too much fun with Psylocke, all these other heroes. I think Wolverine is by far the worst flanker. The worst. Not seen one. I haven't seen one go positive. So I'm putting him in D tier a little bit for the trolls because the Wolverines I've seen have been terrible. They've been so bad. They've been so bad. I'm sorry. They've been terrible. 0-9, 1-6, 2-8. I mean, terrible. Giga negative. That might just be in my games, and I think it's hilarious. He's got potential, but I, on paper, have not seen anything he excels at that will matter. I just haven't. Wait, you did? Did you see some negative Wolverines too? It's just funny. It's just funny. So let me be clear. I could be totally wrong on Wolverine, but I'll be honest with you. I have not looked into his kit enough or seen enough good players for me to rank him any higher. A little bit of a question mark on him there. Dude takes 2 billion stabs to kill anyone. Yeah, he's just not great. I just don't think he's great. He's a tank buster. I hate to break it to you guys. A melee-based tank buster that has to be at very high risk to do anything is not going to be better than Hawkeye, not going to be better than Hela, not going to be better than Moon Knight, not going to be better than Psylocke, not going to be better than Bucky, not going to be better than even I don't know, Storm, right? It's just, you know, I just don't see the vision. I don't. But yeah, that's my first Marvel Rivals tier list. Again, I could be pretty wrong on some of this stuff. It's only after 2 days plus my time playing the betas. Ranked is about to come out. I think this is a pretty solid look. Mantis and Luna, both by far the 2 best characters in the game, I feel like, at least just casually. Maybe competitively I'm wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. So yeah. Anyway, that's my tier list, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. And if you guys want some coaching, we're going to be accepting private Marvel Rivals coaching sessions on my Patreon. You can find that down in the description for this video or in my chat right now. Exclamation mark Patreon. Head on over there. You'll get access to every coaching session we've ever done for Overwatch, and you're going to get access for every session we're going to do on Marvel Rivals, including some exclusive guides as well. That might be a little bit more niche. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Let's go. Okay.